Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let the Poetry Live On, the first ever show. I can actually say that because it will be the first show you're seeing. This is presented by Art Album Productions and Francisco Aguilar. I want to say a big shout out to Lee and Avenues Cafe for letting us host this. Let's give a round of applause so they know there's people here. I'm going to be your host, Eladio Polanco. I have a couple of podcasts that I do, which is like why I guess they thought that I would do a good job doing, just because I have a podcast. Hopefully, I'll do a good job. One of my podcasts is called Empty Opinions, where I interview people from the underground artsy scene here in Philly. And I also am the co-host of another podcast called Listen to This Why You Shit. It's part of the name of the podcast. I'm not just cursing just because. And that's kind of, like I said, I host a podcast, so they thought, oh yeah, he does a podcast. He could, host a poetry show. I can talk. I can ask questions. So I guess that, that means I can do this. I'm excited to hear these poems because I feel like reading poetry out loud is definitely the most vulnerable thing one can do. And it takes a lot of guts. I'm excited to hear these. I think these are going to be great. And I think that's enough rambling from me. I think we could just get straight into the poets that we have for tonight. The first poet that we have, his name is I Hate You, Vinny.
Growing up in a broken home always made me feel way more alone. Bad thoughts linger in my dome, all these demons trying to make my soul a home. When I'm feeling too low, nobody ever think to even hit my phone. My depression pushed everything go away, I feel so cold. Trying to learn to let go, I'm trying to find new things I can grab on. Just want to be left alone, but I also want to be held close. I convince myself that I'm not enough, sending chills through my own bone. Battling myself, dealing with a demon sitting in a dark room. Emotionally feel stuck, I can feel the waves coming slowly crashing down. Chucking middle fingers up, cause I know soon I'm lead a shitty town. Toxicity killed dreams, that's the reason that I'm fighting for a way out. Can't even trust nobody, slowly turn to a homebody. I don't even want to leave the house cause I don't want to fuck with nobody. Who the fuck is you trying to tell me what to do with my life? I can jump off of legs right now, feeling confident. I would take flight, telling you that they love you, trying to trap you in a cage like your whole life. Put my foot on your neck, standing strong in the light, looking for answers to my life. Why they laying up in plain sight? Or is everything within me? You're not with me, you against me. I'm feeling all the fucking envy. Or you trying to call this a family tie? Upside down, side down. When the waves come crashing down. When the waves come crashing down. Why do I feel alone? Upside down, side down. When the waves come crashing down. When the waves come crashing down. Why do I feel alone? Upside down, side down. When the waves come crashing down. When the waves come crashing down. Why do I feel alone? Okay, that's not good. I feel alone, so alone, more than alone. I am alone. I feel alone, so alone, more than alone. I am. This cannot be happening. Feeling low, fighting demons, and when people come around to steal your happiness, guarantee you they don't do that shit on accident. Remember sitting on the floor in the bathroom when I was crying so hard while I cut my wrist, had blurs in front of tears. I was lost in my own mind for some years. I've been going to the light, I've been trying to find hope. I've been walking on a path that hasn't been clear. While depression in my way, I gotta persevere. Deep down I'm lost and I'm cold as snow. I've been lost and the time has never been clear. Just believe in yourself, that's all you can do. Even in the dark, the light is gonna find you. And as long as I exist, you'll never be alone. If you need a shoulder, you can come cry on mine. Feel alone, so alone, more than alone. I am alone. I feel alone, so alone, more than alone. I am alone. Okay, that's the end of that one. I'm messing up a little bit, it's okay. Let me keep going. All right. Ouroboros infinity, I'm trying to feel all the love. Bad thoughts trying to finish me, so I've been looking for drugs. But I know that shit won't work, so I've been talking to God. Depression is beating me down, so I don't feel like enough. Her name is tatted on my soul, so I will never give up. I've been walking through the rain for a long time and it hasn't cleared up. But I know that in time it will get better. Even when you feel so damn weak, all this pain is truly temporary, just hold on. Love, she makes things get easier. Yeah. Even when I feel love, she makes me see the bigger picture. Even when I feel GNV, she believe in me, I believe in her. She broke my curse, holding on to her, I learned to let go. And the grace of God, I found true love, something feels wrong. All this trauma got me fucked up, but she been through the rain too, wiping all your tears, baby. Tell me what's wrong. I'ma hold you tight on every late night when you feel so alone. Even when I'm not with you, just know my energy is close. Just close your eyes, you can see me. Promise you that I'm not a ghost. Have something so special, baby. Promise I can never let it go. Ouroboros infinity, I'm trying to feel all the love. Bad thoughts trying to finish me, so I've been looking for drugs. But I know that shit won't work, so I've been talking to God. Depression is beating me down, so I don't feel like enough. Her name is tatted on my soul, so I will never give up. I've been walking through the rain for a long time and it hasn't cleared up. But I know that in time it will get better. Even when you feel so damn weak, all this pain is truly temporary, just hold on. Love, she makes things get easier. Even when I feel love, she makes me see the bigger picture. Even when I feel small. Okay, that's it.
All right, so the first question I have for you is something we were talking about before we started recording, and that was about your name. I Hate You, Vinny. I know there's a backstory to that name, so I want you to tell the people what it means.
Okay, so basically, before I ever made music, did poetry or anything, in high school, I started to go through a lot of changes, started changing my style, whether it was me expressing myself externally, painting my nails, wearing eyeliner, doing whatever I did, it made people uncomfortable. So when I changed my name to I Hate You, Vinny, it just felt like I was looking from someone else's perspective of them feeling like they hate me, like them saying I hate you, Vinny, just for me trying to be myself and trying to stand out from trying to blend into what everyone else is doing, because I just feel like there is no point in living if you're just not trying to be yourself fully, because you can't be anyone else better than being you. So I just thought you can find personal power in being yourself, even if people hate you for it. Not everyone's gonna love you for being yourself, but you'll find the rare ones that stick out, and you guys will migrate towards each other, and you'll go from there.
Interesting. Yeah, I forgot to put no, that's a great reasoning for that name, because it almost kind of like puts into perspective like almost what you have to go through when you want to truly be like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be a lot of that hate that you're talking about, a lot of that projection that people put onto you when they see you. It's like that, I hate you, Vinny. But it's almost you kind of flipping it in a way. Like, I know that's how you see me, but that's who I am, and I don't care how you see me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. And that leads to my next question about, I guess, the theme of depression throughout the poems.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like that may have influenced also the naming of I Hate You, Vinny, or like you going through that time when you're changing and a lot of people putting those, negative ideas into your head about who you are?
Well, when I made that name, I did start to become a lot more depressed, more so because I guess I started like believing that people actually did hate me. Even though I came from the perspective of thinking people hated me for being myself, I started believing it. So more and more I went through a spiral of like hating myself and, just being like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still going to be myself, but I was still battling that insecurity of not loving myself at all. So there was still like just demons just all this negative energy around me, just trying to take away who I was trying to be. And like going through depression, it isn't easy. A lot of people like look at you like you're weird for it, but like it's something out of your control. You can't really control when you have those highs and lows of it. Like there's something called being like sad, but like being sad is just like you're sad about something for a temporary amount of time. But depression, it weighs down on you even when you don't want it to. Days where you want to get out of bed, you feel like you're just stuck there, like you're just like an anchor going down in the ocean. You can't find your way back up. You just feel like you're sinking in your sorrows. And like I try to find power in that because I was just very suicidal, and I thought that, okay, like I got to use my voice if I have one. So I tried to experiment with it. I started seeing that venting actually brought out everything that I buried within me instead of trapping it in, because I never really liked talking to anyone because I just got these eyes of people that didn't understand me. And it's like the more you talk about something when you want people to understand and they don't, it makes you feel more alone. It seems like you wasted your time and you're just like, I should just be alone and not even talk about it at all. But when you step alone with yourself and you actually try to find power in speaking or putting these things on a paper or typing it, you feel like you're actually letting everything out. You may talk to yourself about it, but after that, you're not holding on to this pain that you're just all within you.
All right. Okay, that's a great answer. Great answer to that question. And the last question I have is it's not that much of an open-ended question. The title of one of your poems is Ouroboros Infinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Ouroboros is, if you ever seen a dragon or a snake like eating its tail, it stands for immortality. So an infinity, that stands for like infinite possibilities, infinite anything. I started to feel loved again, so I felt like there was a infinite amount of love that it was hard to take in, but like it felt like immortality in a way of like, okay, like maybe like I can have immortal love, eternal love, and like not actually think that it's temporary for once in my life. So I started to like believe that in a way and just kind of like put that into that in a way. Yeah.
Good to know. Okay. I think that's all the questions I have. I hate you, Vinny. How about I love you, Vinny? How about that? Maybe let's be more positive, right? No.
Yeah.
I hate you, Vinny. I hate you, Vinny. That was a great poem. Thank you so much for doing it. Another round of
Thank you.
I don't know what to do. Applause or snaps.
Up to you. You're the host.
All right, let's do applause. Thank you. I hate you, Vinny.
Thank you.
I see my body as if I see my companion, caressing each side as each side loves me back, sensing every section and every plumpy side, aside from what you see, this is genuinely who I am. My stretch marks guide paths to where I belong, while my scars and scratches show where the paths were skewed. I deserve the lover that I had with this obese, flabby frame, for this body is my friend. This big, burly brown flesh became a temple the ancestors built. This body isn't something that I'm living in, but the body of who I'm living as. I am a big, fat, glowing beam that shows so bright that you have to see my form, that you have to be blinded by my appearance to enjoy this world that is my body. Yeah. This next one is called I Am. I am greater. I am greater than all the trees that you cannot witness or believe. My presence is beautiful. My mind is an embodiment of complexity. I am neither conscious or deceased. My existence is roaming in life as I continue to prowl through. Beyond my name, I am spiritually ambivalent. This burden that blesses me only continues to prevent me from me. Without my name, I am a meager entity, as no one is truly me. What you observe is exclusive to what you understand, and what you understand about me, I am the possessor of. Okay. So this last one is called Live One Day. It's kind of like a freestyle. So we gonna live one day, we gonna live. We gonna live one day, we gonna live. We gonna live one day, we gonna live. Yeah, all my people gonna live up to their full potential. So judgmental, my mental never gonna be gentle. Just a kid, but little for the things I was into. Never really wanna talk about what I have been to. Trying to pick up the pieces like I'm Olaf from Frozen. Depression striking like I'm Hans, maybe then I'll be broken. As a kid, I was open and showing outgoing. But as a man, I kept closing, kept all my emotions. Came through so happy, leave out so sad. The days I try to find peace, I always seem so mad. Don't know if I feel good or I'm hurting so bad. Can I just feel glad? Can I ever feel happy? I know I'm getting better, so better sing it with me. I know I'm trying to love myself, so let me take it easy. I know I'm trying to love myself, so let me try to be free. I know I'm trying to love myself, so let me, yeah. I'm trying to live one day, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live one day, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live one day, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live one day, I'm gonna live. Yeah. Yeah. You do now? Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
What's up, Tim? How
So
you doing?
man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
That's good. I want to talk about that first poem because that was a great poem.
Mm-hmm.
From what I could gather, it's about body positivity.
Yeah.
What led you to want to write a poem like that?
So I was definitely always like the big kid growing up. So it was always just like years of bullying, years of just like people perceiving me as just like this unhealthy person, you know, just so many jokes. So when I finally started being able to really like love my body and appreciate it, I knew how I could like write that down and really truly express how I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. At what point was there ever like a I don't want to say breaking point, but like a certain moment that you can remember where you're like, let me look at things in a different way? Because I assume it wasn't like you looking at your body wasn't always something positive.
Yeah.
So what was the moment where you decided, you know what, I should not be so harsh on myself. Let me actually appreciate it a little bit more.
It was definitely like a couple years ago because I definitely would see myself and not just be like, oh, that looks gross. Like I would actually be like, I look really good today. Like being able to tell myself that I can genuinely like look in the mirror and be happy with what I see and not feel disappointed.
Do you remember a specific? Is there any specific memory, or was it just something that suddenly happened where you started to look at yourself?
Yeah,
in the mirror?
it was definitely growth more than like a specific moment.
Okay.
Because I've definitely had times where it was just a struggle to genuinely love myself as a whole. So when I started to, it definitely just like my appearance was just totally different for me.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Love that.
Yeah.
That. The last freestyle that you just did for us, you were talking about. It almost seemed like, again, continuing this trend of positivity.
Yeah.
Almost kind of a way to pump yourself up.
Yeah.
We're going, I'm going to live.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to write that down? Does that also, belong with the idea of just trying to look at things more positively in your life?
Oh yeah, definitely. I recently actually wrote that because it was like a freestyle. I had like a beat over it and all, but like it was definitely because when I was a kid, it was definitely hard to feel like I had a future with all the things happening in the past and just that were like reoccurring with my life. So when I finally at least felt able that I just liked my life enough that I want to continue it, I knew that I was like, I really meant what I said. Yeah.
That. Now I want to talk about the second poem,
Yeah.
I Am, which from what I could gather seems to be almost kind of a headier concept of like what makes you you or what makes you who you are.
Yeah.
What led you to even start thinking about that? Because that can get pretty deep very fast.
Oh yeah, it's definitely kind of like just understanding who you are, like definitely trying to figure out within who you are as a person, and to also have a sense of people not perceiving who you are just by the first glance and really getting to know you in a deeper sense. Yeah.
All right. And do you how do you deal with that then? Do you try to focus on that at all? Of like, do you ever think about how do I get other people to understand my true essence? You know, is that something you think about? Maybe because you've had bad experience, like people maybe get the wrong impression of you when they first meet you or something.
Yeah, definitely. I try to like always just be my true self through my music. I never try to exaggerate anything. I will like literally tell people if I'm broke in a song. Like I'll literally say it. So I try to.
Your name is Team Get the Money. You can't.
This is it's sometimes. I still have sense.
Yeah, you do use the money.
But yeah, it's definitely in that way of just like being who you are and like not having anyone like perceive you in a really wrong way of, you know, just the type of person you could be. Just because off of appearances, it can be like, oh, that person may be weird, or that person, you know, like to really get to know the person, like talk to them, you know.
All right. Yeah. That was my last question. Thank you so much for doing the reads out and the poems. And now let's give a big round of applause to Tim Get the Money.
Yeah.
Choking, sinking, drowning, half dead. As I seep lower from the surface of the endless ocean, water fills my lungs, submerging me deeper into the cold, dark, unknown abyss. Rays of sunlight beam down from the heavens, shine over me, carrying a substance I cannot touch, but can feel its radiance surround me. Let me suffer. Forget what you see. My heart and mind are corrupt, so I deserve to bleed. Let me fall to the center, engulf me with thorns. Let the price be paid for the bridges I've burned. Sweet angel, the price was not to be paid by you, for you are not the savior. No wonder the light cannot get through. Repent your defaults and soak in the light. Wish to be saved, for you I will put up a fight. As I levitate in open waters, euphoric palpitations fuel the center of my source. Release the beast, lead her well along her course. The gates await, I rise up to the surface. The ground breaks beneath me, and a gold pathway leads to an open sky, but it's not time. By grace you've been saved, redeemed by divine. Let not pain entrap you, but lead you to be mine. Yeah. This is the first one. This is the second one. This one, I never really intend to write poems, they just happen. This one I found in my sketchbook. I have no idea when I wrote it. I think last year. It also doesn't have a name. You will never fully comprehend what it's been like or what it is like to be me, nor will I you. If you had the chance, would you want to? Could you give yourself up? Could you see a point anew, a point of view that isn't you? To each our own experience, but what does it amount? The questions continue to arise through every fear, love, and doubt. What do they all amount? Does every thought, feeling, and experience count? You decide.
It's great. A lot of questions.
That's great. All right, that first poem, Jesus Love Over Law / Rebirth.
Yes.
Clearly there's some religious imagery in that poem.
I would say more spiritual.
Spiritual. Okay, that's true. That's a big distinction. What do you think what is it about the spiritual kind of imagery that you were portraying in that poem, like, spoke to the bigger point of the poem? Like, how did it help it?
Yeah, so in that poem, it was supposed to be a depiction of me drowning, like literally, but not more so in water. I was using that as a depiction of my emotions and the weight of the world and my like anxiety and depression, and like panic and stuff. Of sometimes it feels when you have like trauma and certain things build up in you, like it feels like you're actually like drowning, and at times like you feel the pain in your body, and like me, it feels like I'm choking sometimes, and like I'm literally gasping for air. So it was like depicting me drowning, and then me kind of talking to like a side of myself as I'm drowning. Well, should I just stop fighting? Like, I kind of deserve of, you know, maybe I haven't been my best self on life. I haven't made the right decision, so maybe like I deserve to just drown and get out of my misery. But it's a depiction of like seeing the light seem through the water and feeling like that presence of something else, which is something that I felt that kind of helped pull me out to be like, okay, you don't fully know what's on the other side and stuff here, but you know, you're not the one that's supposed to just, you're not the only one that feels this way, you're not the only one that's weighed like this, and like you're loved, and you have a chance, and you can feel the light, and you know, despite everything. So it's kind of me like, or a person, you know, emerging out of those waters and like being saved from themselves.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The thing that, but also specifically, I do want to talk about, because yeah, you mentioned kind of like the through line of how the poem goes.
Yes.
But I'm wondering about, could you be more specific maybe about that light that you see that helps you come out of it? Like you said, it kind of revolves around kind of like optimism, where like when you start to come out of that, you know, depressive state where everything is dark, and you start to see the light. For you, what do you think that is? What is something that in your darkest times have like given you almost like a renewed light? Like, okay, I see that light above the water. Like, what has that been in your life?
It has been Jesus Christ and his angels and his followers. The light, you know, I see it in people. I hear it in other people sharing things vulnerable to like their experiences. I see it through lights. I see it through other signs, and I feel like little glimpses of hope have been showed to me in those things that have, you know, made it easier. You know, not that there still hasn't been like struggles, but it changed my whole perspective of, wow, like, you know, Earth is a really dark, corrupted place, but like it's not all dark, like, and this isn't everything. So it completely like shifted my perspective and like my spirits to give me like some hope still, like, while I'm here. So for me, him and honestly just that presence of light and love, which is what he is, like, changed everything.
Wow. That's great. Love to hear that.
Yeah.
And so that you mentioned just now, the idea of like being vulnerable with others, that kind of shows a light out loud, because they can kind of encompass all the poems that we've read today, because like I said earlier in the intro, you know, sharing poems with people is very vulnerable. You know what I mean? You're revealing a side of yourself that is very earnest. So I love that you mentioned that, because this is what this whole event is.
Mm-hmm.
And in the second poem, it also has to do with what you're talking about, with the idea of like that other side, because that second poem is also about like, would you trade places, and why people feel like others might have it easier,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not necessarily true.
Mm-hmm.
What made you think about that?
I don't know. I think, you know, there's a lot of things that have changed my perspective, and I think have also helped me in that sense. And most of my whole life I felt misunderstood, and, you know, felt like no one could see things in my shoes. But other times I thought, well, am I being, you know, like egotistical in a way, like, because then I understood like there's other people like me, and like to put myself in their shoes. And just kind of that, like, ending with, like, the you decide too, of, like, our minds are so powerful in the sense that we do get to decide, like, what matters to us and what doesn't. So, yeah, I guess just changing, like, the script a little bit to, you know, value, like, really who you are and what's important, because you can walk down, like, an isolated path of darkness, or you can kind of open up more about that and, like, lead other isolated people that can be vulnerable to the light, I guess. That's it.
I love that. All right, yeah, that was really those were really mainly my questions. Thank you so much for doing the poems. Those were great poems, and yeah, thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause to Gwen. All right, let's pause.
Sorry, kid.
Because I guess we got to do like an outro, right? I imagine. So yeah. All right, that was great.
Yay! You're a good interviewer.
Oh, thank you. That's yeah.
You really are.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's why I was I'm glad I got that part
It's
right.
nice and, like,
that's
calm.
all I had to do.
Very comfortable.